Welcome back to the David Pakman Show.
Welcome back to the David Pakman Show. Please sign up for a David Pakman Show membership. It's a great way to support the show. You'll get the regular show commercial free. You'll get the bonus show. You'll get video of the bonus show just added this week and access to the full archive of programs dating all the way back to August of 2005, Lewis. Incredible at this point, isn't it not?
It's been a long time.
DavidPakman.com/membership. I want to tell you a story about a hate crime, which I am arguing has not been interesting to the mainstream corporate media because the victim is a black gay man. And it's just not that interesting to the corporate mainstream media to report on this type of story. This was caught on video. A group of Mississippi teens hunted down a black man and killed him. It was a group of young white Mississippi men looking for a black man to, quote, mess with, and they found their target in a motel parking lot where they beat and ran over him with a truck. The whole thing was caught on tape by a surveillance camera. It's sad and absolutely more than disturbing, and the family of the black man who was run down and killed filed a wrongful death lawsuit on Tuesday against the group of white teenagers who they say is responsible. The lawsuit was filed in Hinds County Circuit Court in Jackson, Mississippi. It depicts the death of James C. Anderson as racially motivated and outlines an evening of drinking that culminated with this caravan of white suburban teenagers driving 16 miles specifically to harass African Americans. This is a huge story, it sounds like. A very direct hate crime to people in multiple minority groups, and we've really not heard much about it in the mainstream media. Do you think this is just a story that is not interesting? If it was a young, white, blonde girl that this happened to, this would be a totally different story. It would be blowing up. We've seen that story blow up, whereas we're not really seeing that happen with this. Does mainstream media just not care? Not that they don't care about black people. That's not what I'm saying. But that the story, because of its components, is not an appealing piece to be covering.
I mean, that's the only thing I can think of. I can't think of any other motivation not to run this story.
Well, let's go through it. I mean, is there any motivation where we could argue it's just not really news and what is being covered is more important? I don't know. It's when you turn on local news particularly and you see that out of a 30-minute show, when you take out the 8 minutes of commercials, you've got 22 minutes left. There's easily 7 to 8 minutes of weather in there. You're down to 14. It's filled with stories that are planted, corporate-produced videos and video news releases about products thinly veiled as some kind of medical reporting, for example. The argument that there's too much other stuff being covered that's more important doesn't really sit well with me. It's concerning that this story got almost no play at all.
Which is funny because the things that we think are the most important aren't being covered.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And there's not really...
not apart from this. I mean, this not being one of them.
Yeah, well, the biggest thing is that there's almost no, and I guess it wouldn't work. It would go outside the frame. There's almost no self-critique of media going on mainstream corporate media. You see it a little bit, but for example, let me give you a pathetic example to show you what these look like. The Fox News Watch, the media watchdog show, it's actually just an excuse to call the media liberal. It's not a real media critique show. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of the media critique shows, Howard Kurtz and Reliable Sources on CNN. Some people like it. I actually don't think it's really too good. Again, it's just, they are trying. I'm not just trying to be down on everything. They're trying to at least appear to be doing media critique, but there is no real self-media critique going on out there in mainstream cable news.
Right. So are we just agreeing on this, that people just don't find it as interesting as if it were some blonde girl?
I think it's a component. The question is it that the news people, the news producers, don't find it as interesting, or is it they know maybe correctly that the public won't find it as interesting? I don't know. That's the next
that would
layer.
be their job to determine what the public deems interesting. So I guess they don't.